Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I'm Kapil Sarangi and you're watching Kate Gaming. And you know what, आज की वाली video में we would be looking at a legendary game played by Hikaru Nakamura back in 2010. And guess what? इस game में Hikaru hung his queen 6 times in a row. Legend, 6 times. So anyways, तुम लोग वीडियो को लाइक करो, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करो, and without wasting much of time, let's get started. Okay, so the game was played between Boris Gelfand, a very strong grandmaster, and obviously Hikaru Nakamura back in 2010, and Gelfand opened with 1d4. We had knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6. That's called the King's Indian Defense. And मैं थोड़ा सा context देता हूँ. King's Indian Defense at a higher elo, like 2700 rating elo पे, it's not really the meta, but back in those days when engines were not really that strong, people used to go for it because of the huge attacking potential, and that is something we'll see in this game. So we got castles, bishop e2 and e5, standard stuff, castle by white, knight c6, pawn push d5, hitting the knight, your knight goes back to e7. Now you play knight d2, you play knight to e8 with the idea of going b5, जहाँ पे white क्या करता है, queen side पर attack करता है, and black goes for a king side attack with pawn to f5, c5, creating the same plans on the queen side. Now you go knight f6. अब जो तुम्हारा knight यहाँ पे f6 पे था with the pawn on f7, the difference is your pawn is on f5 and you can go for more push plan and harass the king. We got f3 so that if you take, we can take back like this. And यहाँ पे Hikaru ने खेला f4. He has decided that he wants to attack and he closes the position on the king side. अब वो g5 g4 वगैरह खेल सकता है. Now we got knight to c4. We got g5. A4. तुम लोग देख रहे हो white क्या कर रहा है, constantly queen side पे threat कर रहा है, and it's a matter about who attacks first. We got knight g6, bishop to a3, rook f7, b5, takes on c5, bishop takes, h5, and it just seems like black is always slightly better and slightly fast with his attack. यहाँ पे a5 आता है, you go g4, b6, and you play g3. And just look at this position. Optically, it feels like, okay, let's be honest, it feels like this attack is not really that great. But मैं तुम्हें थोड़ा कुछ example देना चाहूँगा. Let's say if you take on g3, you take back with your pawn. Now you take back on a7. You can go with something like knight to f4. Now your idea is very simple. You would love to remove this knight from here, and you can go queen h4 and just queen h2, and that would be a checkmate. So let's say rook a2, तुम्हें ये बचाना पड़ेगा. Otherwise, like the best move is like something else, like bishop f2, sacrifice your bishop on g3 so that your king escapes. If you make any random move, you can go knight d5, which is a brilliant move. Queen d5, you don't even take back the queen. You go queen h4, and that's a win for you. So you see, even if this attack doesn't look that great, but it is, h3, g3. King h1 is the best move, and Gelfand finds it, obviously. We got bishop f8 back, offering an exchange of the dark square bishops. Pawn push d6, take on b6, hit the bishop. Now अगर तुम इसको take करोगे, let's say if you take, you can take back over here, and you take like this, hit the bishop has to go back to g1, and black is slightly better. So after a move like d6, we see takes, bishop back to g1, and in this position we got knight h4, rook e1, you take on g2, take back on d6, and in this position, Hikaru Nakamura played knight takes on e1, with the idea of, if you make queen, or if you take the queen with your queen, there is simply pawn push g2, and that would be a checkmate. Gelfand took the knight. Now there is no more checkmate. He sacks his pawn on g2. King g2, only move, you give a check, and you see the queen or d8 is just chilling. कि भाई तुम लेके तो दिखाओ मेरे को यार, there is a checkmate always. King has to go back, and यहाँ पे you continue your threat, and you play bishop h3 with the threat of just bishop g2, and that's like, it's game over. You can't do anything. Your queen is still hanging. He doesn't really care. Bishop f1 back. And can you guess what Hikaru played in this position. He sacrificed his queen once again with queen to d3. Again, same threat, you take the queen, you know, bishop g2, and that's a checkmate. So it's like Mikhail Tal ka bhut ghus gaya tha Hikaru mein, in this game. And, we see, knight takes on e5, simply take the bishop, queen f1, you take the knight on c3, and there is not really any promotion for your queen. You play rook c1, we take the knight, you make a queen, we take, but we play queen to e6. Now you see the rook is hanging, and if you count all the pieces, there's a rook for rook, there's a bishop for bishop, there is a queen for queen, but there is an extra pony for Hikaru. And with this, Boris Gelfand resigned, and Hikaru beat him in 33 moves. Just by say 6 moves, his queen was hanging. And that's the game for you guys. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And do comment कैसा लगा ये game, और बताना तुम कौन सा और game देखना चाहते हो. Any other more legend games if you would like to watch. Anyways, that's it for today. Kate Gaming signing off. Goodbye. Peace.